Continue. Number 2, the status of Iruy, a ladle, dvar gush, and dvar harif. Okay, so let's see what are this. So ladle, we understand. So now we're going to see, and it's actually also applies to Shabbos also, like this ladle, right? That you take this soup. If you pour the soup from like if it's a broth, right, and you're lazy or you don't have this ladle, you can pour that directly from the pot into your plate, into your bowl. There is no problem, right? But if you use ladle, so the question is, this ladle, is it counted as secondary vessel, and this bowl is a tertiary or not? So that's the question. So meaning that like every vessel is going to cool down the liquid, even though when you pour it's yatzal as bo, but very fast it's going to be cooled down. Okay, so let's see. The following situation are less hot than Kli Rishon. Situations are less glass than Kli Rishon, but hotter than Kli Sheni. Okay. Right, so less hot the Kli Rishon, meaning the pot where the soup was cooked, but hotter the Kli Sheni, but hotter than our bowl, right? And therefore the status is questionable. So this ladle is questionable. So it says Iruy Kli Rishon. So what does it mean? Liquid poured from the original cooking pot is called Iruy Kli Rishon. Paskim disagree as to whether and to what degree Iruy Kli Rishon can induce absorption of the taste into the food into which it is poured. We normally assume that the taste would be absorbed into the thinnest removable surface of the food. Okay, so let's try to understand what it says here before we continue to practical application. So the question is, if I'm going to pour from my original pot into the bowl, right? Is it going to be like pour on something? Is it going to cook or not? Is it going to be like let's say it has a piece of cheese in this bowl, right? So if I'm going to pour from my original pot, is it going to mix with the cheese to induce the taste? Yes or no, right? So according to the strict opinion, they say that when you pour from one utensil to another, it's touching this cheese is touching the first utensil. It's going to cook for sure, right? But according to a second opinion, they say no, it is actually in the second utensil. But the bottom line, we always, as we said many times, we try to go by a stricter opinion. So if you pour something, right, it's like a first utensil. That's why I first started talking, but then I realized that we don't do that. But I thought maybe technically, even theoretically, theoretically, if you go by the linear opinion, that's what you can do. Yes, you can put your sugar and then coffee, instant coffee, into a cup and pour the water into that cup. According to the linear opinion, there is no problem. But according to stricter opinion, no, it's going to be cooked. So we actually do in a tertiary vessel, even though the temperature is above Yatzalat as well. Because we say normally foods, especially coffee, was already cooked. Instant coffee was cooked before. Sugar was cooked before, so there is nothing to cook. So as I said, the tea is one of the exceptions. Okay. So that's the definition of Iruy Kli Rishon. Practical application. If hot Yatzalat as bo milk, okay, is poured over cold meat, it's very interesting, huh? Hot Yatzalat as bo milk poured over the cold meat, or hot gravy over the cold cheese, or either of these over part food, the taste is absorbed into the at least the thinnest surface of the food, right? At least like basically, what does it mean? Maybe you have to like cut the top part if possible. The Rav must be consulted. So let's read one more time and I'm going to explain. If yatsa ledesbo, so yatsa ledesbo meaning that your hand recoils. Milk, pour over the cold meat. So meat is cold. This milk is hot. So we're applying this law of Iruy Kli Rishon. Iruy Kli Rishon, you pour it from initial vessel, right? Pour it over the milk or hot gravy, so opposite, over the cheese, okay? Or either of these over the powder food, so meaning if powder food became meat or dairy, right? The taste is absorbed into the least the tiniest surface of the food. So I mean the tiniest surface of the food. If you pour like some on the pasta, I mean what exactly are you going to do, right? So because of the absorption, that's it. It became was it meat? But if it's meat was actually cold meat, so maybe you can like cut, like wash of course, and cut off the tiniest layer, and then you will be able to eat. So that's what you need. That's why you need to present all these things to Rabbi, and he's going to decide what to do. That's one of the solutions. Okay. Okay, so next, the practical example. Hot water emerged from the spout in a kitchen sink. Is considered Iruy Kli Rishon. It's very interesting, and thus, if hot water pours over the meat that has been placed in a dairy dish, Rav must be consulted. How is it possible? Let me try to understand. So it was cold meat, let's say, that is put in a cold dairy pot, right? But you pour now this hot water. So you open a tub, right, in your kitchen tub, and sink, right, in the sink, and hot water. So this hot water is from Kli Rishon. So basically, in some sense, it is actually this faucet, right? It's actually of course in the double quotes is a pot in which the water was cooked, right? It's very interesting, and we actually use this sometimes when needed. In what case? When we need to wash our hands and we don't have a cup with two handles, or any cup for that matter, right? So we can open the faucet one time, 2 times, right, to wash the hands. If somebody, like if you after the restroom, you can open and close, open like on one hand, on another hand, and in alternative motives, right? Why? Because it is Kli Rishon. That's original vessel. This faucet is original vessel. The whole system is original vessel. It's very interesting. So in this case, they say talk to your Rav. But I say first of all have 2 separate like a set of parts that not even resemble to one another. So for example, as I said, like we have for meat we have red. How can you go wrong with red? That's for meat. For powder we have stainless. And for dairy, we have a different color. I mean, we don't use much, but we still have. You understand? So we do like today. It's not expensive. When we were buying, it was like you want a red parts. It was like I don't know, like 3 times more than regular. Today is sometimes it's even cheaper. Okay, continue. So it was first case is when you pour. So like first scenario when you pour from original utensil into secondary vessel. So it is considered, according to stricter opinion, it's like a first vessel. According to the lenient opinion, it's like a secondary vessel.